Good morning. It's actually not morning. Happy Friday. Oh my God, it's Friday. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Happy Friday. It's currently Friday, May 15th. I had to look because I just wasn't sure. Today, I am finally getting to this Q&A. I know that I've posted like 3 times on my story the opportunity for you guys to like ask questions, ask whatever you wanted, because I just kept putting off this video. I just wanted to make sure everyone's questions got in, you know? So I took all the questions off of Instagram, off of my stories, and I pulled them and I made a little, there we go, a little note sheet with all of them on. I don't know if I'm gonna get to all of these, but we can try. Let's get started. What part of the USA are you from and where are you living now? So I am from Pennsylvania, USA, and I live in Pennsylvania, USA. I have lived here all my life except for a short period of time last year. About half the year I was living in Jupiter, Florida, which was an amazing experience. It was so nice to be that close to the beach. It was a couple-minute drive for me to be able to go to the beach. Fantastic. But I did move back here. I only went there for an internship, and ever since then I've been here. I've gone to college in my state, so even though I haven't, stayed in central Pennsylvania where I am, I've kind of like moved around. I hope not to stay in Pennsylvania. It's not my goal. I do want to move out of the state. Ideally, when I graduate grad school next year, we can hope, but who knows what's gonna happen. There's a lot of factors that are gonna go into that. Job availability, what's going on with Dakota and his job. There's just a lot of factors that we gotta take into consideration, but I know that I definitely don't wanna stay in Pennsylvania for the rest of my life, so we'll see. What are you in grad school for? Just wanted to say how inspirational it is that you are in grad school and living this lifestyle. That's really cute. That's really sweet. I am in grad school for athletic training. I have my bachelor's degree in exercise science. From there, I kind of decided that I wanted to go into strength and conditioning. I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach. The reason I had moved to Florida last year for about half the year was for a strength and conditioning internship at one of the best facilities in the United States. It was an amazing experience. I learned so much while I was there. A majority of the clientele were professional baseball players, but there were a lot of, other athletes and other people who came along, and I met so many great people there that really just kind of like solidified the fact that I wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach. But I remember while I was there, we had, I don't remember what it was called, but in the morning, once a week, we would have these like meetings, and we would kind of just like learn something new. We'd have a different topic each week. And I remember one of the topics, he had asked us an anatomy question, and no one knew the answer. And I was like so shocked that I had my bachelor's degree in exercise science, but I couldn't remember this like basic anatomy, and it just completely floored me that I was just like, what is going on? So I knew I wanted my master's degree regardless. I need my master's degree in order to be a strength and conditioning coach in a college setting. I wanted the ability to be able to not only prevent injuries through strength and conditioning, but also be legally allowed to treat injuries, which is what an athletic trainer can do. And I was kind of thinking about it a little bit, and that seminar, he had said this is why athletic trainers and physical therapists are just a little bit more ahead in like their knowledge of everything, and that kind of just really solidified everything. And guys, when I tell you that I have learned more in this past year in grad school than like most of my undergrad career, I am not lying to you. It has been crazy. My first semester was over the summer last year, last May, and we did cadaver, which if you don't know what cadaver is, which I'm pretty sure you guys do, but just in case, it's basically a dissection of a dead body. At first it was super scary, really creepy, but I learned so much from those like 6 weeks of that class. It is insane. You can literally name any muscle. I can tell you exactly where it originates, where it inserts, the action. Like, I know way more now, and it just has helped me so much in my fitness journey, as well as my educational journey, if that's what you want to call it. I could be a strength and conditioning coach after this, or I could go into athletic training, which is a very good possibility because I really enjoy both of them. I guess we'll see what happens. What is your current workout split? So obviously everything's a little different now with this whole quarantine thing, but I am still keeping 3 leg days a week and 2 to 3 upper body days a week. I'm trying to make sure I stay a little more active, go on walks, move around. And with my injury, which is super frustrating, I feel like my workouts just haven't been as good as they normally would, but I am still trying to keep the same split as I had before this whole thing, just to kind of keep some sort of routine. What made you decide a fitness lifestyle? Everyone has a story. What's yours? I actually posted an entire video on this about why I started my fitness journey, so go check it out. It's kind of a long one, but it explains absolutely everything. What is your current weight and how many calories do you eat? So right now, things are a little different. I did just kind of start my cutting season, although I plan on maintaining for about a month at a steady state of calories before I start to go into a deficit. So right now my calories are at about 2350, give or take. I did all the calculations and that's what it said that my maintenance was. So that is what I've been eating at. Right now my weight is 165. About 2 weeks ago it was like 168, so even though I am maintaining, I am still losing a little bit of water there. I think most of that is due to the fact that I'm just eating a lot less processed foods. I'm eating a lot more whole foods. My diet's pretty much the same almost every day. The full day of eating I posted a week ago or so. That's pretty much what I've been eating every day so far, and I've noticed a huge difference in just how I feel. I've noticed like a lot less bloating. It's been fantastic. Amazing. Yeah, that's my current weight and calories. How does your mindset change from bulk to cut? I guess I'm just a little more strict with my cuts. I know that during bulking season, if I want to eat like a couple chips or a little bit of extra fruit, or you know, just like a cookie or whatever I want to grab and just eat, sometimes I won't even track it because I'm bulking, and honestly I need to get the calories in anyway, so I'm kind of like eh. But when I am cutting, I make sure to track everything because every little thing counts. You could be sitting there and eating your meals and it comes out to exactly the calories that you need to hit each day. But say you're adding ketchup onto like 2 of those meals, or you're adding like dressing, like ranch or something onto another meal, and in the morning you have pancakes and you track the pancakes but you add a little bit of syrup, like the little tiny things add up. Soon enough you're eating more calories than you had calculated out. So personally, I track everything just to make sure that I am staying in a deficit. And besides that, the further I get into my cut, I definitely do notice myself kind of craving some things that I can't have. So my mindset is a little bit different there, and in the sense of just like mentally telling myself that I can't have certain things. I'm a lot more free to eat whatever I want during my bulk, but during my cut, my mindset is just a little more strict. How did you and your boyfriend meet? This is such a cute story. I feel like he's gonna hate me for telling this story, but I think it's really cute. So we went to college together. We didn't know each other, but we went to the same school. We met when I was a senior and he was a sophomore. He's a little younger than me, it's okay. He had actually noticed me for about a year in the gym. So when I was a junior and he was a freshman, he had noticed me, he had seen me, he had asked other people about me, but he just never really came up to me because he saw me as one of those girls that kind of just knew what she was doing and was in the gym and didn't want to be bothered. I'm always down to talk to people, you know, in the gym. He didn't really know, so can't blame him for that, but he had been interested for about a year. I personally didn't really notice because when I went in the gym, I was just kind of like lifting. Like that was my thing. I would go in and I was focusing on lifting because during that time period, my lifts were so long for some reason. Like I was in there for a couple of hours a day, and I know that I just kind of wanted to get in and get what I had to get done and head on out. So I think he noticed that and he was just like, yeah, like I'm not gonna bother her. Eventually, and it was actually about a couple weeks before I was moving to Florida, he had reached out to me on Instagram. He finally found out my name figured out who I was, found my Instagram, reached out to me on there. It was over Thanksgiving break, so when we got back, we ended up going out to dinner and just worked out for the best. We ended up starting to date officially about 3 days before I left for Florida. So the first 5 to 6 months of our relationship were long distance, which was definitely a little challenging. But I really like that story just because I didn't know that he had had his eye on me for as long as he did, and just never said anything. And it blows my mind. Like, how do you stay so motivated? I feel like I'm stuck in a rut, especially right now. Girl, I feel you. Trust me. I feel the exact same way a lot of the time. It's very hard for me to get the things done that I need to get done because there's just so much time now, and just I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. But I have noticed that, one, make it a habit. Make whatever you got to do a habit. If it is working out, if it's getting up and going on a walk and being active, if it's making sure to get your meals in, you need to make it a habit, because you're not always going to be motivated to do it. But when you aren't motivated, that discipline kicks in, and that is what's going to help you power through it. There's a lot of times, even when the gyms were open, we all go through it. There's times when you just don't want to work out. You're not motivated at all. The last thing you want to do is go to the gym and lift some weights. But it's that routine that you've established, that discipline that you've established that gets you to go. And then realize once you get there, you're like, okay, like you're into it, you're ready to go. Even if it wasn't the best lift in the world, you still got it done, and that's all that matters. And I think that's very important here, especially in this whole situation. I know that motivation is definitely not there right now, but you just gotta kind of get up and do it. I know that that sounds so like stupid and so lame, but motivation is definitely not going to be there, and you need to just kind of get up and go at it. I will say that just doing it is the hardest part. Like, taking that step to do what you need to do is very difficult, and a lot of times it's just that first step. Like when you wake up in the morning and you have to wake up early, it sucks to get out of bed, but that's the hardest part. Once you get up and start moving, everything else is fine. You're perfectly fine. It's just that first little step that you gotta take. So just make it, I think just personally making it a routine and a habit is going to help you in the long run. Low bar versus high bar squatting, which one do you do? I used to low bar squat all of the time. That was like my favorite thing. I hated high bar. I hated it because it just felt so much more difficult, in my opinion. The difference between low bar and high bar is obviously where you're holding the bar on your back. High bar is gonna be obviously kind of at the top, and then low bar is going to be a couple inches further down. I used to put mine kind of on like my lower delts, so I would hold it down here as opposed to up here, so I'd have to like tuck my lats in more. High bar is more knee dominant, while low bar is more hip dominant. So you're going to be a little bit more quad dominant in high bar and a little bit more glute dominant in low bar, which is kind of why I picked low bar in the beginning. So a lot of powerlifters will choose low bar because it does kind of allow you to lift a little heavier. Personally, the way that I am biomechanically set up, low bar just really doesn't work out for me anymore. I have very, very long femurs and a very, very short torso. And given that, my torque, my angles, just when you do low bar, I'm basically like bent in half, just trying to keep my center of gravity, and that's terrible on my low back. So I have established high bar. It lets you stay upright a little bit more. And then furthermore, like if you do a front squat, that's where you're gonna be the most upright. So that is what I do. Sometimes I miss low bar squatting, and then I remember that I injured myself pretty badly trying to do low bar because just the way I'm set up. Supplements, what do you currently take? So protein, take probiotics in the morning, fish oil. Sometimes I take pre-workout if I need it. Sometimes I take the nootropic if I need it. That's really about it on a consistent basis. I was taking creatine for a little bit, but I lost my container, so I have to order more and get back on that. I get all of my supplements from Bowmar Nutrition. So my favorite protein that I've been loving lately is the protein fruity cereal. I could not think of the name for a second. Protein fruity cereal. I mix that in all of my fruit smoothies. Is so freaking good. And then protein wedding cake is the one I use when I make smoothies that are a little more like cream based. So if I use like almond milk and peanut butter and stuff like that, I'll use the wedding cake. But if I use a fruit based smoothie and use like orange juice or just a lot of fruit in there, I will use the fruity cereal. How do you not overindulge on treats? I think that it's very important to not completely restrict yourself, because if you do, that's when you're going to overindulge and binge on those things. So if you're craving something, have one of them or have two of them, have a serving, and then leave it at that. That has always really just helped me regulate my cravings and not feel the need to binge and overindulge on those foods. Restricting yourself from the foods that you were craving is just never gonna be good for you in the long run. Obviously, it is a little different if you are like on prep, or if you're on a very strict diet plan for some sort of competition. But for just general lifestyle, don't restrict yourself completely. How would people describe you? I would like to think that people would describe me as optimistic, positive. I think that that's one trait that I really try to keep up. I like to think I'm kind of funny too, but probably not. It's probably just me because I laugh at my own jokes all the time. How does being Instafamous affect your regular life? So let me preface this by saying that I am very, 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 very grateful for the platform that I have. Never in a million years did I ever think it would happen. I am so grateful. It is something that I have strived for since I made my page, and I am just so happy and so grateful for it. So thank you to everyone who supports me and follows me. You mean the absolute world to me. I don't really think of myself as like Insta-famous, just because you see all those people who have like millions and millions of followers, and they just have such a larger impact and just much more of a presence, I guess. I am just very grateful to be able to have a platform that allows me to help others and connect with others, because that was really my goal when I started my page. I wanted to share my fitness journey and kind of just be held accountable. And I wanted to meet other people who were like-minded, because when I first got into this whole lifestyle, I didn't have anyone. None of my friends were into this in the same way that people like us are into it. So it was very hard to find people who could connect with me on that level. And then the third one, I was going for my bachelor's in exercise science. I was constantly researching, I was constantly learning. I am now going for my master's in athletic training. I felt like I had a very good educational background, and I was seeing all this misinformation on social media, and I just wanted to be able to help, because I know how frustrating it is when you're first getting into it, when you don't know a lot, or when you're stuck, or when you need a little help, you need a little advice and tips and tricks, you need some knowledge. I have been there. I know what it's like, and I wanted to be able to help people and give them those tools to be able to succeed in their fitness journey and move on in their fitness journey and feel great in the same way that like those people helped me. So those were kind of my three main reasons, and the fact that I'm able to do that now is absolutely insane to me and a dream come true. I'm so thankful for it every single day, and from the bottom of my heart, I love you all. Seriously. That is going to conclude this Q&A. I will do another one in a couple weeks, so be sure to stay on the lookout on my Instagram story. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you guys have any suggestions for what you want to see next, please let me know in the comments below. Also, hit me up on Instagram. As usual, my DMs are always open. And here is my @. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and I will see you next time.